introduce Laura Hamilton from across the sea. And if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Laura, your town is
Ayr, that's right. Yeah, that's it, Reverend Karen.
Scotland. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction, Reverend Karen. Suzanne, that was absolutely beautiful. You put me in a very lovely state. I now have to remember that I'm actually here to serve your church and not just sit back and relax. So, first of all, I want to say good morning because I actually feel that I'm there with you. So I'll say good morning, everyone in sunny Sarasota. I'll tell you a little bit about my love for Florida a little bit later on, but I do genuinely feel I'm with you all just now. So I'll say good morning again and hello to everyone on Zoom. I can't see you all. I don't know where you're all from, but good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome and hello. I'm saying welcome. I feel as if I'm already at home. So to tell you a little bit about me now, before I start, I can't really see the church that well, and I wasn't keeping an eye on Zoom. But I do hope that no one's left because Phil and Kerry, as Can said, they were supposed to be taking this morning's service, and unfortunately they couldn't make it, and so they've drafted me in. So I do hope that no one left the church or left the Zoom room. But you know what? We'll just still have a lovely service, a lovely morning together. So, as I say, a little bit about me. Although I've came to several of the services that you have, I normally just have my first name. I normally don't put my camera on, so you probably haven't seen my face before. But can I just say, an absolute honour, an absolute privilege to be here. It is a beautiful church, a beautiful centre that you have there, and I feel truly blessed to be with you today. And then to find out it was the 75th anniversary. Wow. So yes, I'm from a place called Ayr, which is it's on the west coast of Scotland. So I know that you're on the west coast of Florida. So that's probably where the similarities finish there, because I'll tell you, as I said, I have a huge love. I love the States. I have a particular love for Florida, and I've been several times all over the state. I do love, when I say I love it, I love it. And I remember the first time I was there and I went for a swim in the ocean. And my surprise, and anyone who's ever been to the UK knows what I'm talking about here. My surprise, because I went into the seawater, the ocean water, and it was as warm as a bath. And it was a complete comparison to what the weather's like over here, especially in Scotland, because no matter whether we have a heat wave or not, we've never got the heat that long enough, so the water is always frighteningly freezing cold. So that, as I say, that's where the similarities finish. But no, you're in an absolutely stunning place in the world. So, but I tell you something else. This is quite weird, so I want to share it with you if I can. End of last year, beginning of this year, I set the intention that I wanted to come to Florida in July. I knew Phil and Kerry were coming over. Many of you will know the lovely Phil and Kerry, beautiful people, fantastic mediums. So I wanted to come over, and then circumstances changed. I mean, I had looked at flights, I'd looked at accommodation, car hire, you name it, and circumstances, as they quite often do, circumstances changed. And my little dog, who's not very well, I obviously couldn't come. So I just put that wish, that aspiration to the side and thought, maybe next year, Laura, maybe next year. And then out of the blue this week, I got a little message from Phil and Kerry to say, what are you doing Sunday? So as you can imagine, when they asked me, do I want to come and serve your beautiful church? They didn't have to ask me twice. I was like, absolutely, yes. So it's amazing, isn't it, how things work, how we put something out there and we maybe work towards it, we maybe put things in place and things just don't work out and we're left a little bit disappointed and we think, oh well, it's not to be. But then, as we all know, spirit is wonderful at, I'm not going to say moving mountains, but just making things work that you would never have imagined. So honestly blessed to be with you here. And it's very interesting when I say that, because it just, for me, it underlines the importance of what we put out there, what we think, what we say, because you know that saying, be careful what you wish for. Well, it's great when it's good and things go well and you think, wow, this has showed up fantastic. But it also just reminds us how very careful we have to be with our state of mind, our energy, our vibration. Now, I don't know about you, I don't watch the news if I can help it. I don't really do a lot of social media, as in I don't scroll. Because as you'll know, there's so many horrific things going on in the world, especially just now. And it seems to be that when you start reading something or start watching something, it seems to appear more and more. And you'll probably all know this feeling that you actually were in quite a nice place, you were in quite a good mood. You sat down with maybe a cup of coffee and then before you know it, you're actually feeling a little bit down. And it's scary how those negative feelings can then grow arms and legs. And before you know it, you can be in quite a low place. So I'm sure you all feel the same, that you have to protect what comes around you as much as you can. I know we can't stop everything. We can't stop every negative thing happening. But the control we do all have of keeping a high vibration, staying within the light, that is so dreadfully important. Because as I say, it doesn't take very much to get us down a very slippery slope. And so that's why things like this community that we're all part of, can you see I'm now part of your church, whether you like it or not? But we're all part of, so this community is so very precious, not just for coming together for worship and enjoying the music and the high vibration of that, and meeting our friends on a weekly basis, whether it's in person or online. But it's to be part of something good, being part of something godly. Now, we all know that we have a part of the divine within us, but sometimes we forget, especially when things get difficult, when there is illness or stresses or worries or loss. Sometimes we forget. And so being in the now, as Reverend Karen spoke about at the start, being in the now because this moment in time will never, ever happen again. And neither will this, and neither will this. So let us come together to expand and be in unity with each other, in love, and with our God. You know, I don't know, you probably have heard of a Japanese doctor, let me just see because I wrote it down, Dr. Emoto. Now I've got his book here. And I think he was from Yokohama in Japan. And in the 80s, as I say, many of you will have heard of this wonderful gentleman and perhaps read his book. But in the 80s, he decided to start all these experiments of how water molecules act when we talk positively or talk negatively. And so he did years and years worth of these experiences where he would take distilled water, not yucky stuff out of the tap, but distilled pure water, and he would have it in the same conditions, but in one water he would talk lovingly to it, positively to it. You are wonderful, you are loved, you are clever, you are amazing. And in another pot of water just looks exactly the same. You are useless. You are stupid. You are ugly. So he would do these experiments and then he would freeze the water. And then he would take the crystallized water and he would look at the different crystallizations under microscope. And every single experiment showed that when there was positivity, the water particles were beautiful and rounded, and they were all even looking, solid. They all came together in unity. But all the ones where he had spoken negatively to them, they were all broken and sharp, parts of them missing. And he went on to do, as I say, study upon studies for years, different scenarios, different tests, but all fairly much the same. I'm pretty sure he did the same with rice as well, where he kept it for a year, and there was a family that they had positivity going into rice and negativity going into the other. And I think after, it was something like a year, the ones that they had put a sticker of love on the tin, it was fresh, it was lovely, they could use it. But on the other one that sat in the same cupboard, in the same pantry, it was all mouldy. And so, isn't it funny that we all know that we are roughly, 70% or so water? So again, this just brings this point back that these scientists from years gone by that have now been applauded by the world, it's been recognised tests. So you think of all those times where we say to ourselves, oh, how stupid am I? Or it's not going to work, I can't do this. Or we worry. It can even be very flippant comments. But please remember, it has an effect. It has an effect on you. It has an effect on your health. So if we can make ourselves as strong and as positive as we possibly can, then those things outside of us that we can't control, going to be a little bit harder for them to get into our psyche, because once it's in there, then affects our bodies and it affects our health. So yes, if we can be that person of love and light to ourselves, but just as important to others, because they talk about the ripples in the water, don't they? That one little compliment to someone, perhaps a stranger or a friend, or one good deed, whatever it is that we can do positively. How many times have you saw someone in the street and you've maybe given them a smile, given them a compliment? Oh, that's a beautiful dress. Whatever it may be, you do not know the power that you have given to that person, who then goes and gives their positivity to someone else. So for now, when we have came all together for this beautiful moment this morning, to feel that love, to feel that power, because you are powerful. And by keeping that power within that light, we will get through this together. We will go forward because we are all connected. So I know that you do a lovely affirmation every week, and I know we talk about it at the end, but if you wouldn't mind if I can just share a moment with you, an affirmation that I felt that came to me this morning. So if you feel inclined, just let us take a breath of life together for a moment. And just say, whether out loud or into yourself, I follow my heart with trust and faith in spirit. Now, I know that's your weekly one, but I wanted to just add to that and say, together, our intention creates ripples of healing and unity for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. It was just wonderful. She's a life coach, medium, and wears many other hats, and we look forward to more friendship, and one day you will be here in person.